Approximately 1.5 years ago, YGA team and Ahmet met, and as soon as we became aware of who we were, we became aware of the common denominators. We will hear about his investments for the country and for Bitlis, from energy to health, many different fields that they extend in. Now, I'd like to invite to the floor Ahmet Bey, Ahmet Eren. Welcome.
Hoş bulduk, teşekkürler efendim.
Welcome. Thank you. I'd just like to ask my question without further ado. You had a nice chat with our people earlier. Some really good questions were asked. Now, you studied economics at university, and then you worked as an account specialist in the Ministry of Finance. Later, a scholarship application was approved by the USA, after which you didn't remain in the USA, but you returned to Turkey, back to your family. Many young people are asking now whether they should just move abroad and live abroad. What was the reason why you decided to return to Turkey from the USA?
Vermeden önce böyle bir
Before I give my answer, I'd like to
mutluyum.
express my
Gerçekten
gratitude for
değerli
being
arkadaşlarım,
with such an elect group of people. This is a really valuable team, and for me it's a great pleasure to be addressing you. Earlier, we listened to Sinan Yaman, and I thought to myself,
şunu yapmışız,
I'm
bunu
nothing.
yapmışız, şöyle
I
bunu
mean,
yaptık.
I was thinking to myself, I did
Sanki
this, I did that, I became successful. As compared to what Sinan Yaman did, it's just nothing,
oluşturmak çok
because he formed this incredible community. This requires huge skill. And I listened to his speech. He is a very competent speaker too.
ailesine beni katması ve ikna edici
Him adding
çok
me
şaşırtıcı.
to the YGA family is thanks to his convincing speech style.
Tabii sizin de
Let's get
bahsettiğiniz
to your question. Well, as you discussed earlier,
doğum yerim Bitlis.
I was
Bitlis
born in Bitlis.
yoksul ve yoksundu. Şimdi
Bitlis is a very poor, deprived
net başına gelir
town.
sıralamasında Türkiye'nin üçüncü
In the income per capita, it's
orada
the third poorest city in Turkey. That's where I was born and raised.
söylediğiniz gibi
Later, I went to university, and as you said, I worked as an account specialist in finance. Later, AID, the Agency for International Development,
bursuyla
uh,
Amerika'ya gittim. Master'ı
offered a scholarship, and I went to the USA for my master's studies. Then I
tabii
returned,
benim gibi
but
genç
of
olan
course,
arkadaşlarım dediğiniz doğru dönmediler. Orada
it's
kaldılar.
true that
Dönüş
some colleagues didn't
ciddi
come back. They stayed there.
bilinçli bir davranış
I
yaptılar.
returned to Turkey
Doğduğunuz topraklara, ailenize,
because
duyduğunuz
it
bağlılığı
was a
orada
conscious decision.
sürdürüyorlar.
Plus, it's an indicator of your bonds with the
Dönüşüme katılarak
soil you were born
özellikle
into
sanayi
and your family
dünyasında
bonds.
işlerinizi
Later,
genişletmek
involving my
için
family, I grew my
orada
business in industry, and
artık bizden daha yoksul kişilere, topluluklara
I
yardım
made
etmek
enough
istiyoruz.
progress to be able to help others who are not as
Şimdi ancak sizin bu
blessed as we were.
parolanız, sloganınız olan
Your motto,
vicdan kelimesi üzerinden
conscience,
esinlendim. Bir takım
is what I'm very much inspired by.
bazı sözleri söylemek istiyorum. Burada
I'm here
dinleyiciler,
to say a few words.
değerli dinleyiciler, şu
Valuable
andaki haliyle,
audience.
mevcut haliyle
As it is
kapitalizm
today,
gerçekten çok
capitalism
vicdansız.
is
Kapitalist sistem
truly lacking a
öyle bir
conscience. The
yoksul
capitalist
kitleler,
system
öyle bir zengin kitleler yaratıyor
has
ve orada
created
durum da
very
gittikçe
rich and very
artıyor.
poor
Bir
societies,
tarafta
and
çok az
the
sayıda
gap
kişi
keeps growing.
zenginleşirken diğer
On one
tarafta
hand, a
daha
handful of people are getting
daha
richer. On
alçakta
the other, bigger groups of people
durum da
are being
gittikçe
pushed to
büyümekte.
poverty.
İşte
And
bu
the gap
vicdan
keeps growing.
kelimesinin
The word conscience
sisteme enjekte edilmesi lazım. Tutturulması
needs
lazım.
to be inoculated into the capitalist system.
Tabii bir takım ekonomistler, bilim insanları
Naturally, we have
tarafından
economists,
gösteriyorlar.
scientists making efforts.
Geçenlerde siz de
Recently,
biliyorsunuz,
you must all have
Elon
heard of
Musk
this.
Trump'ı destekledi.
Elon
Trump'ı
Musk
destekledi diye
supported Trump. And
bayanlar
because he
var.
supported
Bir
Trump,
günde
ladies and
resmen
gentlemen, in
parasını
one
60
day,
milyar dolar etti.
he added $60 billion to
Türkiye
his
karşılaştırırsanız
wealth.
bunun hacmini daha iyi anlarsınız. Türkiye
If you compare this, you're going to understand better.
Cumhuriyeti'nde 85 milyon kişi yaşıyor.
There are 85 million people living in the Republic of Turkey. Of these 85 million
85
people,
milyon kişinin bir günde yarattığı gelirin 15 mislidir.
this is 15 times the revenues
Göze geliyor.
generated by the 85 million
Terbiyesiz
people in
işte
15 days.
ifade ettik. Vicdanın buna eklenmesi
So,
gerekiyor.
we
Buna
need
ısrar
to
edilmemesi
add
gerekiyor.
conscience to what we're
Hani
doing, and we should
diyorsunuz
not
ya
allow
kapitalist
these
sistemde
opportunistic
bir sistem var
benefits
mıdır?
to be created. So you're asking now, is there any system that is more
Hadi bakayım.
effective than capitalistic system? Well, let me tell you what. Since
Ekonominin
Adam
ve
Smith,
sosyal düzeni daha iyi sağlayacak, insanları daha mutlu ve
people have been trying to find a system that is
geliştirecek
going to make
bir
people
başka
more
sistem
harmonious, happier.
maalesef bulunamadı.
Unfortunately, no other system was invented,
Zira özellikle Sovyetler Birliği'nin dağılmasından
especially
Deng
the
Xiaoping'in
collapse of the Soviet Union and
1979'da
Deng Xiaoping's
ekonomiyi kapitalist kulvara sokmasından da anladık ki
steps to put economy in the
sosyalist bir
capitalistic
sistem
path,
yine en etkili sistemler
we
arasında
could
değil.
understand the
Kapitalist
most valid
sistem
system, the most relevant system, and the most effective system is still the capitalistic system
maalesef
in
çalışmıyor.
economy. We need
Asil
to remove its
kapitalizmi elimizden
bad
almamız
aspects,
gerekiyor.
and we need
Sizler
to
programımıza
domesticate
sunuyorsunuz.
wild capitalism.
2002'de
So
Nobel
for this, we
ödülünü
have authors.
Thomas
In
Piketty aldı.
2002, Thomas
Kapital
Piketty won the Nobel Prize with
e,
the book called Capital.
başarılı
And again, recently,
sosyoloji
London
ikinci
University College,
kişi Mariana
uh,
Mazzucato'nun kitaplarını
Mariana Mazzucato from
yazdı.
this school, wrote two
Düşünceleri,
books.
diğeri
One is The Entrepreneurial
devrimciliği.
State, and the other is The Value of It All,
Makro anlamda
the value of everything.
devletlere,
In the
devletlerin
macro
içinde
sense,
bu sistemin nasıl
these
ehlileştirileceğini ve sosyal
are
adaleti
to show states how the system can be
temsilcilerini
domesticated in a way
gösteren
and how social justice can be
kitabı
embodied.
tavsiye ederim.
I highly recommend that you read if you have the opportunity to.
Devlet çapında, makro çapta yapılan tavsiyeler.
These are macro level
Kişilerin, kurumların
recommendations.
kendilerine has
Again, organizations and
düzenlemelerle
people have their micro level arrangements that might enable them to
tarafından
make the wild capitalism more
YGA
just, more fair.
YGA
YGA is one of these examples
uğraşıyor. YGA
of removing the negative impacts of capitalism.
founder of
YGA is not only holding meetings
Bitlis'te
here, I can see this. Also, I became a witness in Bitlis,
işlerine YGA
uh,
mensuplarını
in Bitlis, where I was born and raised. YGA members paid visits, they worked there, they came, they
geri dönüşümler aldık.
delivered really good results.
Eğitim
I
camiası
got a lot of positive feedback from the education community in Bitlis and also from the overall public. They are so speaking so highly. So I was really happy. I was indeed very, very happy to hear of all the steps taken. You use what you learned for the development of your country. Thank you very much for sharing information about books too. Uh, so you have read all the Nobel-winning books from economists over the past 15 years, I've heard. Yes. When it comes to giving back, I know that you really care. I know that you really uh, own this process, and it's not only you, but also your siblings do the same. And let us commemorate your deceased sibling as well. So, as a family, you really care about this, about giving back. And one example of giving back is the Eren Technology and Science School, which you established in 2021. We actually came across some colleagues from there. We were really touched when we heard about the details. You are a science lover and you are investing in the soils where you came from, from in the geography where you came from. Let me learn about your personal philosophy. Why do you care so much about giving back to the
YGA'ya genel
community?
olarak alıp
Well,
değişik kulvara girmedim ama
I
iyilik
didn't
yapmak
take YGA as a model as I was starting this, but doing a good deed is something that has to be within uh, someone's soul. It needs to be an intention that is already there. There are different ways of doing good
bu
things.
yapacağınız en
Peter Singer has a work called The Most Good You Can Do. What is the
ben
biggest
okudum da
good deed that you can do? Is the
okumakta
question.
da
And I
zorlandım.
read this book. It has
Birine
many different alternatives.
iyilik
There are many
yapmak,
options.
birine
For instance, giving your
desteklemek
bone marrow to someone, giving
çok zor
your
durumda
kidney
kalacak
to someone,
yardımcı olmak.
helping
Deprem
someone who
felaketinde
is really sick,
bunlar hepsi
distributing
günümüzde
warm food
çok
after an earthquake. These are all good deeds.
ve
There are many, many
ben
examples to them
bunları da okuyunca
in
insanın
Peter
içinde
Singer's book. When I read these,
sadece
I
YGA gibi
became aware
kanallar
that,
değil, belki de
like
en fazla
YGA,
iyilik yapılabilecek bir kanaldayız.
we are operating in a channel where we can do the most
Bu kanala girmiş olmaktan da
effective good
biz mutluyuz.
deeds, and
Onun için
it's about education and it's
seçtiğimiz
about conscience. So
yollarda
I was very happy to be part of this
gidenlerimiz biliyoruz.
uh,
Bu
series of efforts.
Müslümanlığa
And
sığınarak
some of you might know,
elbette 13
naturally,
yaşı yaptırdık. Hem İlkis'te hem
well, we
Bitlis'te. Ha bir de üniversitemiz
have
var.
about 13 schools built in Bitlis and in the neighboring cities. There's also the Bitlis Eren
Ama
University.
sonunda
These were all donated to the state.
bir
But in
okul
the end, we said,
yapalım ve
well,
yürütelim dedik.
why don't we build and operate a school as well?
Yani bunu şuradan ifade etmek zorundayım. Buradaki
I have
gençler
to tell you
bu
this.
okulu duysunlar ve reklamını
The
yapsınlar
young
ki
people here
önümüzdeki yılda
must hear about our
yüksek
school and promote it
makamlara
so that next
ulaşabilsinler.
year we have in our school younger
Teknoloji
people who have
lisesi
got better,
açılacak.
even higher
Bu
scores.
okulda
We started the
ilk
Eren Technology and
hem
Science High
İngilizce hem de
School. The
Türkçe
education here
eğitim verecek.
is in Chinese and in
Türkçe
English,
eğitim veren
both English and Chinese.
tek okul.
It is the one and
Bu
only
da
school that teaches Chinese,
şunu da belirteyim çok yüksek standartta bir ortam.
teaches
Okudukça
in
gelenler
Chinese.
ziyaret
And it's a really
ederler.
high standard
Konferans
school.
salonları, laboratuvarları, yurtları,
Those who visited
öğretmenlik alanları vesaire
know that it has
çok
fantastic
yüksek standartta
conference
bir
rooms,
okul ve
libraries,
bedava,
lodgings,
tamamen
etc.
yatırım.
Very high
5 kuruş
scale
ücret
school,
almıyor.
but it's free of charge,
Bu okulda okuyanlar hani bir
totally
kısmı
free of charge.
Çin'e,
Some of
kısmı
those who go to this
İngiltere'ye.
school in summer go to China, some others go to England.
Bu okulla ilgili olarak bir anımı da burada paylaşmak isterim.
Let me share with you a
Geçenlerde
memory about this school, which happened only recently.
bir Çin şirketi var Harbin'de. Onunla çalışıyoruz.
There is a big Chinese company called Harbin that we're working with.
İşte
The
arkadaşlarla
deputy head of
beraber
Harbin and his friends came over.
hediye de getirmişler bana. Çin'de
They brought to me a gift.
bana verirken
It's a tradition in China. As they present a gift, they have a photo
öylesine bir
taken.
hediyem
We
olacak.
had a photo taken, and I told them, I'm going to have a present for you as well. They started waiting,
Oturdular.
standing up.
Ben
I
de
said, no, you please take your seats. They took their seats, and I
tam
sat
o anda
in front of them. And
Bitlis'te
in that moment,
ikinci eğitim veren dershane online ekrana yansıdı. Onlar bir
the
şaşırdılar.
classroom that were teaching
Öğretmen
Chinese
ve
were reflected
öğrenciler
on the screen.
İngilizce.
They were surprised. It was our students and the teacher. They were all speaking in Chinese, and I said,
Şa
please
şa
go
şa
ahead and speak with them.
şeşe
They
şe
started
şe
speaking, ni hao, sha, sha, she, she.
şok oldular.
And
Çok
they were shocked. They were very
yani
positively
bu
surprised, and I told them, this is my gift to you.
şirketin başkanına götürün. Hem
Please take it to
hükümetine
your
götürün.
president and take it to Xi
Onlar
Jinping.
gittikten sonra bir yazı yazmışlar bana gerçekten.
They left and then they wrote me a letter. They told me,
Söylediğinizi yaptık, başkanımıza
we
ilettik.
did as you said. We
Teşekkür
conveyed
ediyoruz.
your message to
Çok gönüllüler.
our president, not Xi Jinping, of
Ama
course, the president of the
başbakanla
company.
bu
The president of
organizasyon
the company
Çin ve Türkiye arasında kültürel ilişkiler bakımından bir anıt, bir monument olacağını ifade ediyoruz.
expressed that this school was going to be a monument for the relationship between China and Turkey, and they said we are going to do our best to support your students and your teachers. This was a huge gratification for me, so I wanted to share with you as well.
Çok güzel bir anekdot gerçekten. Hani burada siz cümleye
Beautiful
geldik. Çok
anecdote.
güzel bir fırsat gibi görünüyor geri vermek
Well,
için. Geri
it
vermek
really
için geri
offers
vermek
us a
için
great
yaklaşım
opportunity,
sergiliyorlar.
and giving
Bu arada
back
burada
could be perceived as a
YGA
gift, and yours is a very good gift.
ve
So
kampüste
YGA has given me this notion of
şu an aramızda
feed
bulunan
forward and feedback. It really constitutes a very good mechanism for all of us. Inji, a high school student, is part of our AI project. As we speak with Inji, I can offer her a mentorship as well. And lastly,
konuşmak istiyorum. Siz bir
I
Atatürk
want to talk
hayranısınız.
about hope
Geçenlerde de
a bit.
konuşmamızda
You are a lover of
Atatürk'ün
Ataturk.
sevgisinden bahsettik ki hepimiz
And
de
in
Atatürk'ü
Sinan
seviyoruz.
Bey's speech, he mentioned a lack of pessimism in his way of looking at the world. But as an accountant expert, you have this cautionary
O yüzden
position.
Türkiye'nin
But since you are also a fan of Ataturk and a great lover of his person and his ideals, you have a optimism as well. And how do you preserve your
Kişisel
hope in
olarak şunu
today's world? Well,
daima
personally, what I
değerli
believe
dostlarımıza,
is that you need to fight
bu
all the time
değerli
and you
gençlere
should
şunu
not give
söylemek
up
istiyorum.
struggling. And this is my recommendation for young
Sabah
people
mutfakta
too.
kendi aramızda konuşuyorduk. Bu
So
arada
we were talking among
gençler
ourselves during
sordular
the break,
nasıl
and some young people have
mutlu
asked,
olabiliriz,
like,
nasıl devam edebiliriz?
how can they be
İşte
happy
benim
and
yeğenim Hamdullah dedi
how
ki
can
dedi
happiness be?
gençler
And
için
my dear nephew
acı
Abdullah
olaylar
has
yaşadık.
said that, well,
Benim
we got
yeğenim
this
Hamdullah
bad
kardeşimin
experience a couple
kazasında
of years
vefat
ago,
etti.
and there was a plane crash in
Fakat
Diyarbakir, and we lost
gerçekten hissedilir gibi
a nephew of ours, and the whole family was very sad.
bahsediyordu ki
And it was a great
amcamızın
depression for
babası
all of us. But he
bize
said,
cesaret
my
verdi.
uncle has
Kendi
recommended us
çocuklarına
to own
başlamak,
our
ona anlatacak.
professions and jobs and our
Ki
purposes in life. And he said we
size de
should
aynı
be
şeyi söylüyor.
focusing on our ideals so that this great
Acı
pain
olaylarla
could be managed and
karşılaşıyoruz.
perhaps forgotten.
Sen
So
yapma
there
endişe
might be
olmayın.
people who are
Biz
confronted with
buradayız.
sad events in their lives. So what I would tell them is please don't
Çalışın,
lose your hope. Uh,
mücadele edin.
Go on working
Benim
hard and fight
kendime
for
göre bir
your
sloganım var.
wishes in life.
Mücadele
I have a slogan for
mutluluktur.
myself.
Daima mutluluktur.
Struggle is all about
Ben
happiness.
gerçekten
You should never
gençlerin de
stop
aynı
struggling
fikri
for
söylediklerini
yourselves and for your
sanıyorum.
ideals. And I heartily believe that all the young
Atatürk'ün
people in this hall
tanımıyla
will be acting
hepsi
accordingly.
aleve dönüşecek birer
And
kıvılcım olarak görüyorum. Ondan
in
eminim
reference
ki
to
hepsi birer
Ataturk, I see them sparks. Every one of you are sparks which will make this fire bigger
mücadele
and
mutluluktur
spread the
demiştiniz.
light.
Siz aslında bize hangi yönde
Well,
olmamız
happiness is
gerektiğini
all about sticking to our ideals and continuing with our struggles. And we need to remember ourselves that happiness is a
bir gün en güzel
process in itself. It's not a given moment in life. And we really would like to thank you for coming here because you have a very busy schedule. We know that. So thanks once again for being here with us. Thank you. Hope to see you soon.